All right, here it goes. Everybody's gonna hate on Supergirl. Everybody's just gonna say this movie was trash, garbage, horribly written, everything as well too. They all are going to say something about this movie, which is going to be like, you know what? Make everybody question whether or not they want to go see this movie. I, for one, am actually going to take a different approach because this mindset, if you look at it with this mindset, you will be good to go see this movie. But if you take everybody's opinion on this movie and then go see it, you will wholeheartedly fall into that whole entire trap of, you know what, this movie's horrible. This is the way I looked at Supergirl. Even though the whole entire concept, this is going to be spoilers, by the way. Even though the whole entire concept of the movie, she's like 23 years old in here, so she should be like, a little bit older and more mature in the mind and stuff as well. You know, she is depressed and sad, and she's getting over the loss of her whole entire planet. That is the core concept of this Supergirl. Now, this is the way I look at it. Minus the fact that they said she's 23 years old, untrained, immature, like reckless and anything as well too. She was that in this movie. That was this Supergirl. This Supergirl was everything of like, you know, people getting beat up, broken arms, all that stuff as well too. Just like violent. She even caught a body in this movie as well. That is straight untrained Supergirl. Straight untrained Kryptonian. Straight depressed and everything as well too. And if you look at it like that, then you're like, okay, you know what? This movie's horrible and she's horrible because she's not trained. She doesn't understand. Compare this to, and out there, so sorry for this, but compare this to the CW Supergirl who was trained, built up on the farm, went out to like, I forgot what city it was as well too, but worked for the whole entire cat grant and everything. That Supergirl was a polished, put together Supergirl. That was like a really good Supergirl. This one, I can definitely see like, okay, at the end of the movie, she was like, you know what? I think I'm going to stay here and I'm going to pull myself together. If you think of a prequel to that CW Supergirl, this is a prequel to the CW Supergirl, and that mindset makes it good. That makes it okay and stuff as well. Now, the rest of the movie, though, it was overall sloppy. It was a sloppy movie, and I am not going to say that this was like a very good one. It was sloppy. Once again, if I lean on the fact that this Supergirl is untrained, unfit, all this stuff as well too, it makes sense for the movie to be sloppy. And then on top of that, I'm actually very happy that we got and I'm going to be honest, a no-name villain in this movie. And I said no-name villain because if we were to get a big villain like Brainiac, Darkseid, or just like Livewire or anybody else in this movie as her first villain, it would have felt like very condensed and rushed for her to get to that point to be able to compete with them or compete against them. It would have felt like that. It's a no-name villain, which is good. The concept to the movie of revenge and stuff as well, to save my dog and everything, all this stuff as well. Just seeing it so many times, you're kind of like tired of it as well. And then the dialogue with the villain, with him being such a horrible villain, like he's like such a low tier villain, you'll think to yourself, like, why is he in here? But with her being so untrained, I'm like, you know what? I can definitely say that this is a good starting point. Even though it is a very, very bad starting point, this is a good starting point for this Supergirl. And that's the way I'm looking at it. Like this movie, yes. Was it bad? Was the writing sloppy? Was there like a lot of inconsistent things in the movie? The biggest inconsistency in this movie that actually super pissed me off. This is it. So as I said, and everybody talked about it, the dog get poisoned. Now they are on this hunt for this guy to get the antidote and save the dog. All right, that's the baseline. However, this is a super dog. And I thought to myself, when the dog got poisoned, I was like, if you put him in front of the yellow sun, he should be okay. Like, that's what I thought. And it was like, but maybe not, maybe not. Later on in the movie, she get poisoned with that same poison, and then all she did was drink some milk, throw it up, and her body was better. That was absolutely the craziest thing ever. Like, and he's a super dog. And that was my biggest part there where I was like, you know what, that just didn't make no sense. Outside of that though, what about this movie is good and was this movie bad? This movie was a good starting point. Everybody's gonna say DC's dead, DC's horrible and stuff as well too. If you look at it with that point of view of what I just gave you, you could actually be entertained by this movie. But if you want to look at it and be like, oh, y'all supposed to come out, give us a bad guy automatically, yes, it doesn't need that. It doesn't need that.